Ladies and gentlemen, sit tight. And if you want to escape your soul-sucking job, you want to work with a marketing expert, a business coach who can really transform your results and your reality. He's done it for me. He's helped me out so much, been my advisor, coached Les Brown on business and marketing. You definitely want to check out EmployeeEscapePlan.com. Joe Nicasio, amazing dude. Stand for your success to make sure that you succeed in your business with your passion, your skills, your expertise, your story. Helps you package it up and get it to the marketplace for the people who are hungry and desperate for what you have to offer. So I highly recommend you go check out EmployeeEscapePlan.com. And when you do, make sure you let Joe know that Chris sent you, and he'll know exactly what you're talking about. Now, for the man of the hour. Ryan Charaba is a husband, father, entrepreneur, transformational coach, and retired Navy chief. As a coach, he operates from a place of can and responsibility to move people to chase after their dreams as if their lives depended on it. As an up-and-coming author, his desire is for his experiences to be shared with as many people as possible. He believes that most of us have at least one experience we can share with almost anyone to truly connect us all on a deeper level. He believes in a world where challenges are met with a tenacity that truly burns within all of us, and believes that your dreams are just a series of choices away. Ryan, you ready to rock this?
I think we should probably stop right there. That intro right there was good enough. I don't want to mess it up. It was good.
Dude, thank you for coming on and dedicating a portion of your valuable life force energy that you're out, empowering people, making a difference in the world, to come share with our audience. Thank you, man.
Yeah, man. Thanks for having me, dude. I'm stoked to be here, brother. For sure.
Sweet.
For sure.
We're diving deep, man. So we're going to get into your story and challenges and things that have had you be the person who you are today. By the way, this is a PG show, so
I appreciate the heads up, dude. No, I do.
Dude, it was awesome. Your speech was epic, and how you showed up in that room was such a powerhouse. So everyone, if you haven't heard or seen Ryan speak, which I think his first time was 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago.
2 weeks ago. Yeah. At least outside of uniform.
Yeah. So make sure you get to this next event, because he is epic in person and a force of love and transformation. And before we get there, let's start diving into the theme of today, which is, who are you really? And Ryan, when someone asks you, who are you, how do you respond?
I am a regular guy. Just like you or me or anybody else. When I talk with clients, one of the first things I say, number one, and I mean this from a place of love, you're not special. You're not broken. There's nothing wrong with you. You're just like everybody else. Like, we're all put here. We all have purpose. We all have everything. And so me personally, back to the question, like, I am just a guy who's on a journey, who wants to collect as many people who want to go to the same destination, which is to a better world that is filled with more love and openness. All of it.
Beautiful.
So just pass it around. As many people soak it up. So
it's amazing.
Yeah, that's who I am.
Amazing.
Thanks, brother.
I love it. Yeah, you can really tell a lot about people about how they answer questions, right? And what your frame, how you come to this question is like, I want to include people. I want everyone to feel included, like nobody's outranked, right? Which probably came a lot from your life experience. So why don't you take us through that, your journey of getting to where you are today, through the Navy, kids, all that good stuff.
Okay, so I like to start at the beginning. I was born in like a one stoplight town, and if I haven't been there in years and years, but if I'm not mistaken, I think it's still one stoplight. It's called Eatonville, Washington. It's the base of Mount Rainier in Washington State.
Okay.
My parents were 18 when I was born, had my brother and sister by the time they were both 21. We moved a lot. We were really poor. We didn't have any money. So real quick going through that, like up through high school, we moved 36 times by the time I graduated high school. And most people were like, oh, was your dad in the military? No, we just didn't have any money. And we just moved to where work was for my father. Wow. And my mom and dad both worked. We were latchkey kids. We were home alone a lot, me and my brother and sister. And I think from the time I was in third grade, like 8 years old, we were like consistently mean, several times a week home by ourselves, just. And so for me, that led to some complicated learning things for me. Like my brother acted a certain way, my sister acted a certain way, I acted a certain way. And then when mom or dad was home from wherever they were working or providing, it was a competition for their attention. Mm. And so that for me, like I developed a lot of kind of neediness from that. Like, and I developed like, well, I'll just be the best kid. I'll be the best of the three and I'll be bright and shiny. And then when I wouldn't get attention, then I'd be like, oh, it's never going to be enough. And so I developed a lot of neediness and self-worth challenges, like so many of them developed in our childhood. And by the time we moved around, I was in my 13th school in high school, and I was like, you know what, I'm just got to get out of here. I'm just done with it. I'm just going to go. I'm tired of people telling me to move and telling me what to wear, tell me where to be. So let's join the military, because that's what they totally do there. Because the dichotomy of it was that I really didn't want that anymore, but I at the same time, I didn't to function without like that guidance from somewhere. And really deep level, I really, really believed that I needed somebody tell me step by step what to do, even though really, really triggered me the worst. And so the Navy, and I did 4 ships in the Navy, which is super hyper masculine environment. There's no sun, food's really bad, and your sleep schedule's messed up. And if you are a study of serotonin and how it's produced, those are the top 3 things it produces, that happiness chemical inside of our body. And so you have 140 guys inside of a black tube deep down under the water, just grumpy all the time and angry inside of a scarcity mindset system. And so coupled with all the self-worth and all the stuff, it was a really challenging environment. And from the very beginning, I knew that it wasn't something that I wanted to do. And I was 100% sure at my next contract ending, I was going to get out, and then I would get to the end, and then self-doubt and lack of self-worth would kind of take back over, and I just re-upped every time. And so then kind of fast forward to about 17 years into that, I was just, my body and soul had enough. And even though my logical mind continued to choose into it, and I freaked out one day. I freaked out on my boss, and I knocked on my commanding officer's door the next day, and I broke down in tears, like sitting in my uniform and all my manliness and just crying, like, oh, I'm sorry, man. I'm just not able to do it anymore. I was just done. And I admitted for the first time to somebody like that day that I was suicidal. And in the submarine force, we joke about it. Oh, like guys leaving the boat, because it's a common thing. Guys leave like once a month because they're unable to deal with the stress. And that guy is not able to hack it. He's not tough enough. We don't want him here anyways. And the names that I used to call people for, leaving the ship in that way, like, we won't repeat here. And so for me to transition through that myself and become on that other side was a very, very awakening experience for me. And me as a collector of information, I immediately went to the Google to find out why this happened. How come I made it 17 years? I did everything right. I checked all the blocks. I did all my push-ups, and why am I not able to? And, I found out the thing about serotonin, and I found out about stress and the way it works and so many ways about the mind. And kind of serendipitously, about a month later, a coach fell into my lap. So I ended up hiring her for a year and learning even more about trauma and the past things. And, words like trauma, we assign to like losing a leg or, being raped or stuff like that, like these really, really serious things. But being left home alone as a kid and not feeling like you're valued, like that can be trauma too. So these things, these words, like if you change the context around them, you can realize that these things can be really hampering to you as your life goes on. And so being with a coach for a while, like it was just kind of like this eye-opening experience that I didn't even realize people did or needed, or not even needed, just could benefit from. I decided that, wow, like this is a really amazing thing. Inside of the military, I really love leadership, yet there's this other side of it where people actually lead people to where they want to go. which was this whole amazing concept that I'd never really experienced, because in the military, it's like, you're doing this today and have fun, and kind of like this, and so waking up every morning now, being an entrepreneur and doing this for about a year and a half, and really, I've been retired for about 4 months or this long. And been like waking up every day and meeting people and showing them on a really deep level that the things that you cherish and love and are passionate about really matter, and that you hiding those things behind a desk or behind a keyboard or behind whatever it is you're hiding behind, and how much you're withholding from the world, and kind of exposing that for people and showing them that there's this amazing life for all of us, is just, I've become so grateful for my experiences now, and so grateful for even the 36 moves. Like, I'm so happy those happened. I'm so happy I joined the military. I'm so happy that I witnessed so much grab people by the neck and fear-based leadership. I'm so glad that I experienced it to such a level that I know that that's exactly what I don't want to be. And just waking up every day and choosing the other way, it's been so amazingly rewarding. And because of that, my son, who used to live with his mom, he now lives with me. He was failing out of school. He's doing really well in school. When he first moved in, he's like, I'm just going to join the Navy, Dad, and now, like, yesterday, he just told me, he's like, every day that goes by, it's like, I think I'm going to do college. Like, he's really looking in, not just picking just the colleges to go, but his expansion of the options he's noticing that he has is a little bigger every day, and we have a baby girl with my wife now. We've been married a little over 2 years. She's a year and a half old. And we're trying for our second kid, which is another crazy thing, because we have enough and we want to add to it. And we're really stoked to bring the love. And it's been just an amazing experience. And I think I answered your question.
Think or no?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
You definitely did.
Going on. It's like going on. How long have we been talking? Check the timer.
It's beautiful. Interviews. I love interviews. Like, if the interviewer doesn't stop me, I'll keep talking.
For sure. I know exactly what you're talking about. I get it.
So, dude, thank you for sharing all that and your journey.
Sure.
And I love how you have this whole gratitude aspect of everything that people would be afraid of. Like, oh my gosh, I hope I don't have to move 36 times. Like, that would be the worst. I hope I don't have to, deal with all this terrible situations and circumstances and talking and fear-based leadership. Like, I hope I don't have to put up with that another day. Maybe people are going through that kind of stuff right now. I hope I don't have to go another day without not landing a client. Like, I feel like I'm about to collapse because I'm just exhausted and tired. And for everyone listening, you don't have to wait till you're out of the quote unquote danger or the fear or the powerlessness or where you feel like things just aren't working out. Like, Ryan, if you could have gone back and been grateful in those moments, what would that have done to your situation? Not that you want to go back and change it, not that you regret, right?
I know exactly what it would have done. And I think about this often to kind of check in that, I would have been a much more effective leader. I would have been a lot less bipolar, because I was one of those guys that would come in and put on the pumped up face and get everybody else fired up and ready to go. When underneath I was really sad, and if I would have been able to be grateful then in those moments, man, it's challenging to describe, because it would have been so awesome. It would have been so much more amazing, and I tell the story too that back in 1600s, 1700s, early wooden ship naval time, there's this thing called conscription. And if a ship pulled into port and they were short on sailors, they roll into the bar at 3 a.m, and if you were passed out in the bar or in the gutter, they picked you up, they threw you on the ship. You woke up the next morning and you were underway. Okay. And hey, if you want to get back to port, you better get to work. So it's the whole thing, the whips and the swab the decks and the stuff is that really happened. And so even though we don't do it that way now, I think energetically the Navy recruits from a similar group. Okay. They look for young men and women who don't necessarily know what they're doing, who don't really have any direction. They're not sure about this. They're not sure about that. And like, come on into the Navy, shipmate. We'll teach you direction. And they kind of, and so then with the fear, and then once you've arrived, they're like, this is it. You found it. You know, you have a team. We're fighting terrorism, blah, 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 blah. And so, and then kind of stamp the individuality out of you so that you become like assimilated into the Borg for all my Star Trek nerds out there. So where was I going with that? Oh, so anyways, so at the same time, even though I believe very much so that we're a certain group of vagabonds and rogues and miscreants that come in, like we still do amazing things. We do amazing things. We take huge, massive pieces of machinery and operate them thousands of miles out in the middle of nowhere for hundreds of days at a time. And that's a really amazing thing. And I think one of the things that I would notice more back then, and if I was able to be grateful then, would be to notice how much we would have been able to accomplish if we were all doing something we really, really, truly were passionate about. Wow. And the things that we can accomplish as a people, the things that we can do with a whip at our back or whatever it is, it's like that stuff's amazing. And then when you think about, you know, push this rock uphill just because, but then if you're pushing a rock up a hill that you really want to be on the top of that hill, it's in some ways it's effortless. Oh, yeah. And so being able to be in that space, then that's probably the biggest change. It would have felt less challenging. Whereas if we hold ourselves in these spaces of all the time, then you bring that energy with you. And I know some people that are in the Navy that love it. Some people that are Navy that are so thankful for it because they've come out of broken homes and they are very, very able to contextualize it that way. And they're like, man, this is the best thing ever. I've got they got 3 meals a day. I know what to wear. It's not hard. Like, I mean, it's not challenging. You just got to do stuff that's not always, it doesn't always feel intelligent per se, you know? So yeah, man.
That's awesome. It's a good share. And I also hear if you show up with gratitude, you're a space for like miracles to happen. You're a space for goodness to come to you. You're a space for the people around you to be themselves and show up in however they are and lean on you for support. That's like real leadership, you know, where you're grateful just to be there, even though it might not be the ideal situation. And the reason why I shared that is because people are often going through stuff that they don't want to be going through. So people who are listening right now, our audience, like the reason why I said that is because you can be grateful now for the stuff that's not working in your life. You don't have to get to the end of the road or to the 5 years, 10 years, 15 years from now when you've turned it all around because of your freaking persistence. You don't have to wait till then to grind it out like Ryan did, and then say, okay, now that I see, let's start being grateful now.
Right. And I think you're really true. And I think to echo what you just said, you could either wait until your life hits rock bottom and you kind of everything blows up, or you can kind of force that situation yourself by really stepping into that fear. Because I think either way there needs to be some discomfort. It's just it can either be on your terms or not on your terms. And that's the choice. And and now looking at it now, it was simple. And me freaking out that day that I did, it was the 27th of March of 2014. Like I know exactly the day it was, and 2015, excuse me. And it was professionally the best, thank you Spirit for doing that. Thank you for being done with my own, lack of ability to move one step in a different direction. And so I look back at all that, there was a chance there was a chance there was a chance there, all these other opportunities. And, it's all perfect for me now. It's all absolutely perfect. That they're always there. Trust your gut. It knows what it's doing. You'll see.
I love what you said there as well. Thank you, Spirit, for being done with the learning like that I had to go through to get to where I am today. And we can literally affirm that and live into that and be that now. Hey, Spirit, listen, thank you for being done with whatever challenge that you've been stuck with, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for being done. Like I'm grateful to be free, even if you're not like technically out of the hole yet, but you can be spiritually and mentally free and peaceful, knowing that it's all going to work out, knowing that, man, it's already done. Like I'm already at the $1 million a year business. I'm already at the, the relationship of my dreams with my dream guy, dream girl, whatever. I'm already at the, amazing life and the amazing house, whatever it might be, whatever your cup of tea is. You can already know that it's done and just trust that it's all working out.
It's the absolute best feeling to be able to, when your mind kind of goes off into Fearsville. Oh, I'm not here. Oh, what about that? Oh, what about back there? When it's just like, bring it back in. I'm on the podcast with my boy Chris, and my life is awesome. Yes. Like it's so good. Yes. And even though there's a million unanswered questions. 3 years ago, I'd be like, oh, unanswered questions. Now it's like stoked because now I get to go out and answer each and every one of those. Yes. And who knows what the answers could be. And that's a really exciting way to live for me. And who wants to come? The water's great. Like it's really awesome. It's really great out here. So
dude, I love it. And you live in Hawaii. I mean, if anyone didn't catch that, Ryan lives in Hawaii. Amazing.
Right there.
Gosh. That's incredible. So tell us, how does this story play into today's theme of this is your first wake up?
Okay. So in the Navy, we operate on submarines. We operate on an 18-hour day. Mm-hmm. And we stand a 6-hour watch where you're on watch for 6 hours and then you're off watch for 12 hours. And in theory, you stand your watch for 6 hours, but you're just watching something. I was a sonarman, so I just listened and watched sound. You can watch sound, I promise. We won't get into that now. Or if you're an engine room guy, you're like reading gauges or checking steam levels or whatever. And then in theory, you're 6 hours of off-going time. You're doing maintenance. You're doing quals. You're reading. You're doing your leisure time. You're exercising. In theory, the 6 hours oncoming, you're sleeping. And so your schedule is always rotating backwards. So if you're standing watch from dinner to midnight, the next day you'll stand watch from lunch to dinner. And then the next day you'll stand watch from breakfast to lunch. And then it just rotates back around the clock. And so because the berthing compartments are so small, you're not using your own alarm because beep, 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 something goes off, like everybody hears that. So they send the most junior guy who has no idea who anybody is and has no idea where everything in the boat is. They send him around to wake up everybody. Hey, Chris, it's your first wake up. Like, hey, Chris, is your second wake up. Hey, Chris, is your third wake up. Well, first wake up is terrible. It's like, oh, I just want to sleep. Like, just let me alone. Like, because you're never getting more than 4 or 5 hours of sleep at a time. And you sleep slightly more frequently, but the duration's much shorter. Mm-hmm. And so first wake ups became like this metaphor for this person waking you up for your life that you don't love. And so with me and all our friends, like we used to make jokes about it. We used to run up and like, it's your first wake up, and like be all crazy. And then we'd whisper to each other and like, just kind of like, hey, it's your first wake up. Just to kind of joke around and kind of make light of something that we really didn't love. And then as my suicidal portions of my life kind of happened and I kind of moved through those and kind of just learning little lessons. I go back to the serotonin production thing with the food and no sleep and no sunlight. And it was like, oh, I'm actually supposed to feel this way down there. Oh, this is your first wake up. Like these little guideposts where they pop up all the time. And so that's kind of where that tagline came from. Instead of, it's like acknowledging these little gut feelings that show up that like, whether you're in the same argument with your spouse, like over and over and over, or you're having or your date 6 or 7 people in a row and the breakup is all for the same thing. Like, hey, this is your first wake up, like check in with these things. These little things are letting you know that there's a lesson that you could be learning. And if you just let yourself. And so then the way Hawaii ties into that is that I did my first 3 boats, USS Boston, Providence, and Toledo, out of Groton, Connecticut, where my son used to live. Mm-hmm. And I was in DC for my second to last duty station. And I was the chief at the time. And I was like, all right, well, it's time to go back to boat one more time. go back up to Connecticut, finish it out, be near my son, do one more deployment, and then retire. And then with this computer program you log onto where there's like the billets that are available, and you apply for one or two, and you say, well, these are my top 3 choices. So I was like, well, I want to go to Connecticut or Virginia or Washington State, because my family's from Washington State, at least I could be near them. And then Connecticut or Virginia were the closest to my child. And so I log on one day, and the only 2 boats that are available for I'm not going to Hawaii then. And so when I log in the next month, I was like, this screen looks different. And it said Charaba, Hawaii assigned. Like, I didn't even get a phone call. It's like, you're going to Hawaii, you know? And it's like, oh man. And so, you know, I tell my son, and I tell my wife, who was not my ex-wife at the time, we're moving. And then that like begun its deterioration, which was already a bad thing anyway. So it's not a huge thing now, but definitely another laundry list of learning from that relationship, you know? And so then just getting here, and then, so like getting divorced, like right after I got to Hawaii, and then just burying myself in work to just ignore the fact that I was 35 and divorced. My son lives 6,000 miles away, and I'm still doing a job after 17 years that I hate. And so it's just like, you know, okay, the best way to deal with it as a man is to just get to work, you know, and then push it all down. And so then again, like there was just the last thing, and then the freak out happened, and then I got my coach, and I was just like, this is my first wake up again. This is my 7,297,423rd wake up. We'll just keep it with first because it's got a better ring to it.
Yes, it does.
So it does. It just sounds better. So, and so that's just, and then I met Nicare, my wife here. And I remember on our first date, this had never, ever happened. We sit down, the waitress brings over our drinks, and we cheers, and she's like, why did your marriage fail? And I was like, oh, wait, what? And it's like, this isn't first date talk. But then something first wake up seized happened. And this was like a huge pivotal moment for me. And I was like, what's the worst thing that could happen? You just tell the truth, you know, which is a new game for me then. So I was like, okay, cool. So I told my story, and she'd been divorced about 1.5 years, and she told her story. And if you would have laid our marriages over the top, they were like, all the things that my ex did, she did, and all the things that I did, her ex did. Wow. Now, and for a second I was like, well, what does this mean? Is it just the same thing going to happen? And then it was kind of like this realization that I'd said towards the beginning of the call. I was like, or maybe I'm just not alone. You know, maybe everybody's got problems. Maybe the same things that happen in relationships are not as uncommon as we think they are. We all hide we put all our beautiful lives out on Facebook, and then we hide all the stuff because we don't want anybody to find out that everybody else has the same problems. And so that was like a huge thing. And then like just going forward in that relationship with this like instantaneous beginning of the road, like we're starting with honesty and we're going to run this path this way. And then like in a way, her allowing herself to be honest with me really helped me see that I could start being honest with me too. And which really led me to kind of break out of that and get out of a job that I really wanted out of in the last couple of years while I was in the Navy, creating a really, really powerful job that I was super proud of. And then I was very proud to leave to the next guy behind me, and that I know is still there and is still operating the same way, because people have problems, man. People have challenges, and sometimes people need help, you know, and it's inside of an institution like the military. It's just uncommon unless you've been shot or you've experienced death in combat, where they give you this kind of treatment. But you're just going to sea, and you just got to deal with these problems. And if you're having problems at home, then you must be some sort of dirtbag. And it's just like, how does this even make sense? And so just watching that shift slowly take place has been really, really powerful. And then just moving out and keeping the first wake ups as my business name has been part of my process of becoming grateful for my experiences inside of the military. Wow. And now it's something that I'm so amazingly proud of. And it's just, I don't know. Yeah, it's just, so stoked about it, to be able to truly take the tools that I learned inside of there and come apply them to something else. Whereas so many guys will get out and then just go across the hall to a different job, just wearing a polo and khakis instead, doing the exact same job for another 30, 40 years until they retire. And so, yeah, man, that's how that all ties together. And we're going to stay in Hawaii as long as we want to. So, yeah.
That's incredible, man. So I really acknowledge you, because a lot of people are out there trying to figure out what their purpose is, what their business should be, what they should coach on, what that is. And you just like, hey, what's my journey? What's my story? Tap in, launch. These are the people who get me. This is my community. I really you just like stumbled right upon it. You're like, I'm going in, and there's a definite need in the marketplace for these people to heal and have some kind of therapeutic outlet, and be given the techniques and technology and mindset to be able to deal with whatever is thrown at their way, and that's some pretty heavy stuff.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. For sure. Yeah, man.
Beautiful, man. So tell us more about what you're creating now. Like what does this look like moving forward, and where will we see you? Like what's the vision of First Wakeups?
The vision of First Wakeups, it's actually in flux right now. When I got out, I wanted to do my own thing, just be me, one of one, just Ryan Charaba doing First Wakeups, and I'm still doing that. And what First Wakeups specifically is I'm a love and relationship coach, and I specialize in military and their families, and especially transitioning service members, people that are leaving the service. And I'm also very, very good with 30 to 40-year-old women. I just am. Like I have tons of I'm good with that. And it's that's another side of just the way I philandered and stuff and do that. And, so yeah, and that's just another thing that I've been able to tap into for a very healthy reason. And I've been able to really give back and be really beneficial to that demographic. And however, I'm also have 3 female coach colleagues here on the island who I'm working at when we're currently building a retreat that will turn into its own mastermind. It's called Shift to Rise. And it's in April, and that's going to be like a starting point per se, where you come in. And that's really just this place for people who maybe have done some personal development or just really starting out that really kind of want to get into to see how it feels of. And the idea is to enroll people into that because you will have to fly to Hawaii. You will have to experience the amazing place and the amazing energy that we have here. And in a way, just accepting the fact that you're going to invest into that kind of thing is like a step into the I'm worth it category. For people to just say, okay, I'm going to go to Hawaii and just explore what this is. Like for some people, like we have ladies flying from Florida, and she's never done this. We had a call with her last week, and she's like scared to death. And now she's so excited. And like, I remember telling her, I was like, the retreat isn't even until April, but as soon as you commit and say, I'm going, like you've started, like that's your line in the sand is drawn like that day, and everything is different from then. And then, so what that will turn into, I'm involved in a mastermind right now as well that's very, very business focused, which is really great. They have a lot of freaking amazing people and amazing tools. And for me personally, like I want to kind of use that framework similarly, yet I want it to be more of a soul focus and more of a spirit focus, so we can really align people. And my mentor inside of that, I think he was actually on your podcast earlier today, Brad, he says people don't have business problems. They have life problems that spill over to their business, is one of the quotes he said recently. And in our mastermind, which we will call spirit mastery, because we're not going to master the mind, we're going to master spirit. So we'll call it spirit mastery, which will be an offshoot of shift. And we're going to teach all the business side things, yet we're really going to focus on what drives you, where's your journey going, like how do you fit in with where your point A is and where's your point B, and what are the steps along that path to find your journey. So that's the biggest things right now. So right now I work with up to 8 one-on-one clients like at a time. Like that would be me booked capacity. And in this way, inside of Spirit Mastery, we're going to be able to take on, I think we just started the framework for it this last week. And I think we'll probably look to get in, because there's 4 of us that are all equal parts and we all coach very different ways. Like Tara does energy work similarly to me, but just she speaks a different language than I do. So that's very helpful. And then Kimmy and Pua, who are also very amazing coaches as well, but they specialize in management and kind of hacking your schedule, really precise and efficient. And so we all bring like a really special brand of flavoring to the thing. So we're going to be able to really, really help people on a deep level. And then we'll bring in like a business guy, and we'll bring in someone who whoever the team is, but that's the 4 of us right now. And with us being equal parts, it's really, so like me and you sit down, we have a coaching session, maybe me and you do 3 weeks in a row. And then you're like, oh, right on, man. We really broke through that. But, well, what's next? Well, I don't know. What do you want to work on? I want to work on this one thing. I will be able to help you with that. However, Kimmy is so dialed on that subject, and just being able to pass it on, the amount of growth that you can make instead of having those plateaus. It's like a constant jump up to the next step, and just being able to be abundantly share that with each other. We're really, really excited about. And yeah, man, the more the merrier. Like we just like we were saying at the beginning, like really want to include everybody and help everybody find their power. And it's just nothing more rewarding for me than that, to see somebody kind of open their eyes to the world, like really, really open up for the first time. It's really amazing. And I just love it.
Who do you see yourself becoming between now and April to make that event a success? What skills will you need? What are you committed to developing? What ways of being, and how do you see yourself evolving?
Well, one of the ways, and we talk about abundance a lot in the mastermind I'm involved in now, and the mastermind that I'm currently building, we talk about abundance a lot, and having to practice that like on a really, really credit card level. You know what I mean? Like really, really saying, this is what I'm doing. I'm drawing a line in the sand, and taking the same advice that you would ask of your clients to do. And so for me, like I've invested quite a bit of money to make this work. And my wife has been amazingly gracious. She's a business owner. This is her office. I'm sitting in her office right now because it's super quiet. She's a business owner herself. She's a chiropractor, and she's been so amazing to support me while I'm building all these things, and really, really allowing someone else to take care of me in that financial aspect, so I can just kind of move and trust that the rent is going to get paid, and that the food's going to be on the table, and the groceries are going to get paid for, and the electricity is going to be on tomorrow. So it's just really, really, really owning that abundance is a real thing. That really owning the fact that if I'm truly aligning my mission and my spirit, that the universe is going to kind of drop in right when I need it, and not before and not after. It's going to be like, here's the time. This is perfect for you. Here's your next lesson. This is your next wake up. And so it's just really, really being in the moment, being as connected as I can be to wherever I'm at that time. That's going to be the biggest challenge and the biggest lesson. And really, just really being, man. Just really, really being there. So, because I think is a practice, like there's nothing more powerful than just being able to acknowledge where you're at in the moment and just practice letting everything else go. And it's hard sometimes. And you know what? Doesn't mean that it's not awesome. So
yeah, wouldn't have it any other way.
I wouldn't have it any other way. It's really true. It's true too. And when you saw my speech, like I'm surprised I haven't started crying yet, because that's how I roll. Yeah. But it's just like really, I don't know. I have clients be like, how do I make the pain stop? I was like, that's not how I operate. I'm sorry to tell you that, but we're going to learn to live with it and learn to really appreciate it. And when you can I think the biggest reasons that it hurts so bad is because we're struggling so hard. when we don't need to, you know, just stop thrashing against everything and just appreciate where you're at. And just this just the amazingness is so, everything around us is so brilliant if we just allow it to be. And it's a sweet kind of surrender that definitely takes a step across the line from pride and into courage, and then just those little baby steps towards love, man, and just keep walking over there. And you know, there are incidences in our lives that trigger us, and we fall back into freaking our egos flare up, and then it's just one of the things that I'll say is it's not a practice about stopping the triggers, because it's not possible. Right. Today I was triggered for 22 hours. Okay, cool, good notice. And the next time that triggers comes up, we'll want to practice to just compress that trigger time so that it's just the time that it takes you to process that. And, you know, certain events, man, people trigger for 22 days. Okay. You know, they're angry for long times. And then, you know, and then the next time comes up, it's a little shorter. Oh, there's the trigger. Gotcha. Processed. Choosing a different, like, we're moving, you know? And so, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, man.
Awesome. And so tell us more about love. How does love factor into your perspective and paradigm on life?
Most people say no to themselves more often than they say no to anybody else. And 99 times out of 100, in my very, very humble opinion, I'm totally right, is that we do it because we don't think that we're worth it. You know, I want a new, and I mean, it can be superfluous as much as stuff like a cell phone or you know, a new shoes, or getting the 12-ounce steak instead of the 8-ounce steak. And those are, I mean, they may seem as silly things, but we withhold from ourselves a lot. And if we all sit here, I bet you if the audience is like, what are you withholding from yourself? Just think about it. The Rolodex of your mind. I'm not letting myself have this. I'm not letting myself have this. I'm not letting myself have this because of fear of this, 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 you know? And when you can really, really acknowledge that you're freaking perfect just as you are, and again, it's a practice of, you know what, I'm going to allow myself this thing. I'm going to allow myself to succeed at this task. I'm going to allow myself to move past these self-sabotaging behaviors and move into this other thing because I'm worth it, because I love me, and because I'm showering myself with just, and I think it all starts there. And I think many of us really want to be loved as well. And I think most of us want to be in some sort of loving relationship, whether it be with our families, our brothers and sisters, a spouse, our workplaces, our communities. And the people who receive the most amount of love are those people who show up as that example of love themselves. Yeah. You know, and if people see you on a regular basis taking care of yourself and really being sure that your needs are met. I'm not talking about wants, like I'm talking about needs, like caring for those things that we really need to in our spirit survive. Then people, you're going to attract those same kind of people into their lives that want to take care of themselves too. And when you put those people together, Chris, you know this, you do this every week. Surround yourself with these people. And it's just like you said, you create the space, more people that create that same space. And then all of a sudden you're just as far as you can see. It's just love everywhere. Yes. You know, and it's as far as you can see. And just when people come at you angry, love you, bro. Easy day. Me and you were talking about this the other day. Yeah. Like, I love you. Yes. You love me. And we're like totally pumped up and manly that I don't care. Love it. Yes. It's just like cool. Yes. Yeah. So it's just like, you know, yeah.
Dude, like I'm so excited for the reality that we are creating together. Yep. You know, like we talked about the space, more and more people. And that's what I'm also so grateful for about this show, because we get to get like-minded people together who are all about becoming their greatest possible self, who are all about loving themselves and loving others and making a positive difference and an impact in the world, dude. And our coaching, your coaching helps people with their relationships. My coaching helps people with their mindset, subconscious beliefs, be higher performers. Like, let's kick it up another notch so that you can go impact more people, so that you can be self-loving and spread that love everywhere, man. That's like, you were talking earlier, and I think you were kind of dancing around it, but the work that you're doing is the most important work that's being done on the planet. The work that I'm doing is the most important work that's being done on the planet, especially like coaches. I think everyone deserves to say that, because it's like, why would I choose anything less? This is my life. I'm dedicating my life to this. It's the most important work that's being done on the planet. and especially coaching. Like, I'm a little bit biased around coaching, because with coaching, we're literally giving people the keys. Give people the keys so that they can make the choice for themselves. We can't make it for them, but we can give them the keys. We can present the offer again and again and again and again, and not be attached to them choosing quote unquote right, but give them the choice time and time again.
And I think the brilliant thing about choice is that no matter which one you make, it's the right one. Because it was like, I chose to stay in the Navy for 20 years. I wouldn't be sitting right here. I wouldn't be talking to you today if I would have gotten out at any other time. It just wouldn't have worked out. Like, this is the thing. And when people are presented with choice, like, I believe truly that we're all doing our absolute best 100% of the time. Because if we could be better in those moments, even when we're completely like on the ground crawling, it's a freaking disaster around us everywhere. If you could be better in that moment, you would be.
Yeah.
There's a lesson there for you at that moment, and you either learn it right then, or you learn it 10 years later when you're like, oh, that was the thing, And the more we peel this onion back, the more we find like these little memories will come back, And so. Just a second, dude. My phone is ringing. I'm sorry.
It's all good.
I got you back?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Sorry about that. I thought I shut it off. So, but it's just these, in every single thing that happens to us and every choice we make, even if I'd have passed on this call, pass on this podcast, like, I'm choosing not to be there today, and then I'm sitting there and be like, oh man, I totally missed out on this amazing opportunity. Like, maybe I really needed to feel that. Maybe I really need to feel what that felt like to really give up something that's really good to get to that. And it's like that challenging thing that I think we all experience, and then it's just because those are the things that hone us, and then okay, all right, seriously this time, and then eventually we stop missing opportunities. We start noticing when we're doing it, blah, 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 blah. And it's just, so right or wrong, dude, we can get into that whole freaking string pull of words and that are completely ridiculous and we shouldn't even use. It's just, it's more of a matter of what's effective and what's ineffective,
Yes.
So, it's just, make your choice, do it. Just pick something and move. And learn from, because there's pros and cons no matter what. Cool.
That's beautiful, man. So what role has language played in your development over the last couple of years?
I played this personal development game through this seminar company called PSI. And one of the things that we did during this 90-day, it was an enrollment game. It was the whole 90-day was about enrollment, about helping people, enrolling people into your vision, more or less. Okay. And one of the games that we played starting on day one, we challenged ourselves and like chose into a challenge where we weren't going to say the words but, try, or can't. And every time you said it, it was like a swear jar. You added money to the pot. And if you said but, it was $1. If you said try, it was $2. If you said can't, it was $5. And so over the 90-day period, I think I paid like $800. It was really, But then at the end of the thing, like at the end of the 90 days, we threw a huge party, and that's how we paid for it.
Awesome.
So that's how we paid for it. So we used it for something positive, right. But it was such an amazing experience to find out what my filler words were. I used to say I used to say but at the end of every sentence just because. Like, I don't even really know when that started. Be like, hey, yeah, you know, but hey. And it was just like, it was like my
Yeah, or like your transitional statement to the next thought. It's like,
yeah,
but,
yeah.
but.
And so for the most part, I've eliminated those 3 words. Like, even
That's
typing them, I don't write them down. They have weird.
Nope.
Like, it's a relationship that I don't use. I just don't use these words. And I say the 3 of those words on occasion. And it was way more about eliminating those 3 words from my vocabulary. It was really, really becoming immaculate with the things that I say, and really, really noticing, especially when I'm with newer clients that are kind of new into the self-realization game, like really being able to pick out when people are telling themselves no. You know, oh, I'd really love to be in that show, Chris, but 5 p.m. in Hawaii, I got to be on the beach. So I'd be there, but and people don't realize that it's just excuses. And it's like, you'll either be there or you won't. Like, that's it. There's no, you either want to do it or you don't. You're going to choose to be there or not. And it's just like Yoda said, do or do not. There is no try. Like, there's no in between. And can't is a terrible, terrible word. Oh, I can't do it. No, you could. You're just choosing something else. It's just really, really, for me, it was just taking that power back. Oh, hey, man, do you want to go out on Friday night? Oh, I can't. No, you could go. It's just, I just have something that's more important.
Yeah.
And that's no digs on you. It's just, these are my priorities and it's nothing to do with you. And if we were able to talk to each other this way more accurately, then we wouldn't have to walk around with hurt feelings all the time. And we could just be honest with each other.
Nope.
Which is no honesty. No thanks. No. So it's just, just really, really taking that ownership back and really taking responsibility 100% for the things I say. And, it was a very rewarding exercise. And in my marriage, my wife is really like, I don't like the word sure. It bothers me.
Yeah, it's not a definite yes.
It's
sure,
not
sure is
it's like, hey,
sure.
So do you want to go to the park? Sure. Oh, well, okay, then I don't want to go. And so it's like, we have it's either yes or it's a no.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's either 100% yes or we don't. So we do our best to kind of honor that too.
That's
and
beautiful.
McCare, my wife, is really amazing because she's really, really good at holding me accountable for the stuff that I say that I want to be responsible for. Oh. I'm telling you, dude. Everything happens so perfectly, and all these things that I say. Why aren't you more? Oh, now I finally have it. And it's like, you really do get what you ask for, and you're gonna have to deal with those things. Yes. so, yeah, man, it's good stuff. So I'm stoked about it. It's awesome. I love it.
Man. This is beautiful. Yeah. Beautiful, beautiful. So, Ryan, we're beginning to wrap up this epic interview. Okay. I'm having a blast, man. And I'm sure we'll have you back on again, maybe in February or something, just in time to let people know about how the event's coming along, all that good stuff. So, and have them still be able to come, whatever month works, we'll figure it out. But really, what is it that you want people taking and really receiving from this interview? How are they going to be? How are you committed that they be? What are you committed that they do? What are you committed that they have after this interview? What actions do you want to see them take?
Confidence isn't something that you can buy. It's not something someone can give you. And in order to get confidence yourself, you have to choose whatever it is for you specifically. So everybody who's listening to this, what is the thing that you're currently not choosing? You're choosing not to choose it, more or less. And if it pops up in your head, make a decision and just commit to it and go fall on your face. Go make some mistakes and look back at your life and all the mistakes you've already made. And you'll be like, oh, I've already made that mistake. I'm still here. Oh, it's no big deal. So just whatever it is, the fear, it's not real. So just take an action on anything, whether it's a diet or the gym or having a better relationship. Like, try things out. Don't try them. Just do different things. Ha ha ha. I did it myself. See? And so just go experiment and see what happens. Make a chart. Oh, I did this. I didn't really love it, but it was kind of cool. What if we did it this way instead? Oh, that was way better than last time. Oh, blah, 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 blah. And it's just like, that's how, buildings were built thousands of feet high. That's how we put airplanes in the sky. Elon Musk we're building spaceships to go to Mars because of experimentation and saying, this is my goal. I'm going to get there no matter what. And it's just about, if you don't choose, your spirit and your soul is eventually going to do it for you. And just take control of it. Do it. Make a choice.
Absolutely. And like you said earlier, there's pros and cons to every choice. And
every single thing.
If you're at the beginning of your journey and you're not quite crystal clear on what it is that you're supposed to do, why you're doing it, have a commitment to play full out and just paint the freaking picture, and don't be attached to how the painting turns out. $1 million, $1 billion. Sure, let's try it on. Being a rock star. Sure, let's try it on. Having a great family, living in a white picket fence house. Sure, let's try it on. And then take actions in alignment with that. And as you move towards that, you'll see that your goal and your vision and your purpose in life either matches that, or, you're finding it's really not resonating anymore. Trust that your process of discovering what that clarity is, what it really is, it was perfect. It's perfect.
I completely agree, man. I completely agree. And don't be afraid to change it up. Like, if something's been working out for you great for a year, 10 years, 20 years, and one day you wake up, you'd be like, it's not working out for me anymore. Cool. That's a good notice. Go pick something else. Go pick the next thing that is working out for you. And that's completely okay. Completely fine. So,
beautiful.
Yeah, man. I appreciate you, bro.
Appreciate you, man. Appreciate you.
Thanks for having me, man. This is awesome.
Absolutely. Just the beginning, man. This is your taste of all the goodness that's to keep coming to you because of who you're developing yourself into, because of the value that you're adding to people's lives. This is just the beginning, man.
Yeah, for sure. I'm stoked about it. Yes. Really stoked about it.
Awesome. Ryan, I appreciate you. Have a wonderful evening.
Bro.
Thanks for coming on. Thanks for sharing value with our audience. How do people stay connected with you?
For me, the simplest way, find me on Facebook, Ryan Charaba. I'm the only one that exists. Freaking send me a friend request, shoot me a message, and let's get on the phone and connect. Like, I don't like to BS. My website, I have a website, it's firstwakeups.com. It's halfway constructed because it's out of my wheelhouse. Yeah. And my thing, let's get on the phone, let's change the world. Like, for reals. Let's get on a call just like this, face to face, and let's figure it out. Or check out the retreat at shifterrise.com and come see us in April, because it's going to be amazing for sure.
Absolutely. Right on, Ryan, love you, bro. Have a great day.
Later, brother. See ya.